chessboard. There's not too much between them. Obviously, Magnus has the better results historically, but yeah, the psychological factor, that is going to play the biggest part today and tomorrow in this quarterfinal.
We're waiting for Hikaru to make that first move of the quarterfinals. Here we go!
We're off. We open with a king's pawn opening. Hikaru, he's conserved with both hands. He can play any opening. The knights have jumped out. Hikaru bringing his bishop out. The Spanish. And Magnus kicking that bishop back. White's bishop retreating. Black's knight now attacking White's pawn in the center of the board. And Black actually snacks on that pawn. This is what we call the open Spanish. This will be a small surprise for Hikaru Nakamura. Obviously, he's studied this plenty of times, but this opening, Magnus Carlsen doesn't employ too often. It only tends to be once in every blue moon that Magnus plays this opening. White's bishop there, getting attacked and stepping back. Black is currently one pawn up, but White is ahead in development. White has castled his king. That's why, with his last move, Magnus Carlsen occupying the center, is actually giving back the pawn. I would expect to see Hikaru capture one of Black's pawns in the center now. Just play pawn takes pawn. That is the main move. There we go. Now, material has balanced itself out. This is all well-known stuff. Magnus will try to get his Black king castled as soon as he can. Otherwise, White is going to be in charge. Yeah, this position, it's happened in World Championship matches. It's happened so many times throughout the tour as well. It's one of the favorites of Shakhriyar Mamedjarov as Black.
And incidentally, the two did play, that is Nakamura and Shakhriyar Mamedjarov did play against each other in the New in Chess Classic. And in that game, Hikaru Nakamura won with the white pieces.
Okay, so Magnus allowing Nakamura to play an opening he has had success with.
But this is a common psychological ploy because often you choose, if you're going to identify a weakness in your opponent's opening repertoire, you pick the lines where they've done really well. And that way they're not really suspecting, they wouldn't have done too much work on it, and you can surprise them with a novelty. And the moves come in thick and fast.
This is one of the main lines of the open Spanish. Black there pushing forward in the center, not actually allowing White time to consolidate. Usually if Black wants to play safe, Black would have castled the king, but no, we're going for trades. Magnus Carlsen trading off a set of pawns there. This is quite rare, but we have also seen it in the past. I think even from Magnus.
Yes.
Against Nepomniachtchi in the past. Pawn takes pawn here, and let's see how Nakamura deals with this one.
You have a fan.
that's the key move to start with. And yeah, once the black king moves away, you can start thinking about when to push that white pawn forward. Maybe switch the white rook back, threatening to push up central pawn. So, okay, he does give check.
Okay.
Black king is forced to retreat now.
And now, is the white rook going to realign itself on a central square to support the pawn advance? Yes?
So white with a deadly threat, threatening to push that pawn forward. Check, forking the king and queen. The queen has had to blockade that pawn. Now Nakamura, again, spoiled for choice. He can give a check with his queen. Black has to block. And now, simply queen takes pawn. He's starting to, why not start to snack on some pawns?
And black can't even snack on any pawns, because after rook takes pawn, well, you can push the pawn forward for starters.
Okay, I think Magnus, if he sits still and does nothing, he's just going to lose. So I think he has to try the black rook taking the pawn right now, for better or worse. Just try and hope that Nakamura doesn't have a killing blow after that. But Magnus leaning back, we've seen that body language before. It tends to be when he's not happy. And okay, if he doesn't take that white central pawn with his rook, what else are you going to do? You might as well just resign. The black king in danger. White's pawn's just too strong. He does run away with his king, but that's basically an admission of defeat. White's just going to start taking all your pawns, and white 2 pawns up with the attack with a far advanced pass pawn. Black is able to give a check to the white king, but that's not going to do much damage. The white king will just sidestep. It can even go either way, to be honest. Go tuck itself away in the corner. It can even go towards the center of the board. It's just one check. Black's only attacking with one piece, and that queen will not be able to go very far. There might be a nice finish here. Nakamura now, he'll give up his queen. He can actually play queen takes rook right now.
Yes.
He does it, and giving up his queen for a rook, Magnus just resigns. If black's queen takes the white queen, white's pawn would promote. It will just advance, and it's unstoppable. Win for Nakamura.
What a devastating start to the quarterfinals for Magnus Carlsen, losing the first